everyone, and welcome to the Grandma's Marathon post-race review video. So I ran Grandma's Marathon about a week ago, June 17th, 2023, last Saturday. And it was a great race. I had all of the sweet race swag from it, including the bib, as well as the finisher medal and everything. So yeah. Grandma's Marathon had always been a bucket list race for me, so I was so excited to be able to take the trip up to Duluth, Minnesota to be able to race last weekend. Absolutely wonderful scenery with being on Lake Superior. Perfect weather. I think the temperature ranged from about 60 degrees, mid-50s to 60 degree at the start and closer to like upper 60s, 70 degrees towards the finish. Weather was awesome. Scenery was great, and yeah, I would definitely go back for it again. Now time to get into the nitty-gritty of the race. So I had two primary goals for this race. Number one was to PR. My previous PR was about 3 hours 52 minutes, and I knew my fitness level was pretty close to that to be able to PR for that. Number two was to not blow up. Now, I had done two previous marathons prior to Grandma's, and both of those races I completely blew up after mile 20 or so. And so I didn't want that experience again. My last race, all the way back in 2016, I started strong with like 8:20, 8:15 miles, and by the end of it, I was really only running 9:30 to 10-minute miles or so, plus. And so that was a big goal for me, to have a little bit more of an evenly paced race. So it was a success because my final time was 3:49.49. So I was so pumped to be able to PR with 8:47 average throughout the whole race. The first half, 13.1, came in at 1:55.29. And then the second half of the race, which came in technically, and my watch had it at 13.3, came in at 1:54.23. So that was awesome because it was an evenly paced race and even a little bit faster in the second half of the race. So it was really exciting to be able to do that. I had to be pretty patient in the first 10 miles because the atmosphere was just lively. They had fighter jets doing a flyover, and there were just so many people, and it's primarily downhill at the start of the race, so you just want to go. And I really had to kind of hold back my pace, hold back my heart rate a little bit to be able to have some left for the end of the race. I did run the last 1.22 miles in about 8:03 pace, and so that tells me I probably had a little bit left in the tank, but at the same time I was so focused on having an evenly paced race that I was okay giving up some in the beginning. One surprising piece of data that I picked up via my watch and heart rate monitor is my Garmin measures ground contact time and ground contact balance. Essentially, ground contact time is essentially how long your foot is on the ground for with every single step that you take. Ground contact time balance is essentially a measure of symmetry between the right leg and the left leg. And it measures for any difference or asymmetry between legs with how much time that you are spending on one leg versus the other. And for me personally, I had always favored my right leg a little bit more. That's my more dominant side. And so naturally, as you can see from the beginning of the data as well, naturally I tend to spend more time on my right leg than my left leg, just because my ground contact time balance is favoring that right side. However, as you can see towards the end of the race, I am really favoring my right leg compared to the left leg. And so essentially throughout probably the last half of the race, I'm spending much more time on my right leg than I am my left leg. Overall, I've always been a little bit weaker and less stable on my left leg, and this data is really going to give me some more insight to be able to work on that. Once again, running is such a single leg sport that we need to be stable when we're on one leg, no matter whether it's the right leg or the left leg, because running is single leg stance followed by flight phase followed by another single leg stance. And so we need to make sure our legs are able to attenuate the forces every time we take a step, every time we hit the ground, And so we need to make sure that the legs can appropriately do that. And as you can see from my data, I definitely have an asymmetry, and this is one area that I'm going to be looking into the research much more in the coming weeks, and I'm hoping to do a little bit more of a detailed review video about leg asymmetry with running, but I think this is one important area for injury prevention as well. All right, everyone, so that is all I have for my Grandma's Marathon post-race video. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. As always, please like and subscribe to the channel. I look forward to chatting with you soon.